There has been a whole bunch of SEC filings over the past week from Mullen Automotive since my last video. So in today's video, I'm going to look back at the very latest of these, which is in regards to the upcoming shareholders meeting. Now, we knew that this shareholders meeting was coming, but things are a little bit different than expected. So in this video, I will analyze exactly what we can expect over the next few weeks. There seems to be a lot of misinformation out there right now about Mullen Automotive, but this is the only channel that has been correct about absolutely everything that Mullen would do this year. Going back as far as March this year, everything that I said would happen has happened, and I have pointed out massive red flags to watch out for along the way. But if you find any value in my Mullen videos and want me to keep creating regular updates, then can I ask you to smash the like button? By liking the video and dropping a comment, you are letting me know that you want to see more MULN stock content. I'm aiming to get 300 likes again on this video. Help me achieve that goal. Your likes help the channel grow, but also your likes help spread the truth about this company and its management. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification. Now let's get into it with the very latest SEC filing from Mullen. Mullen Automotive filed a Form 14A giving notice of a special meeting of stockholders, which will be held on December 23rd at 9:30 AM Pacific Standard Time. The special meeting will be held virtually via live audiocast. Now, the day that this meeting is set for is of huge significance. December 23rd is the Friday before Christmas. This is the last possible trading day of the year and markets close early. Choosing this day and holding the meeting virtually straight away is a big red flag. Now, any shareholders can attend this meeting via the link that is shown here, but no matter how many shares you own of the stock, shareholders have little to no say anyways, which I will discuss in a moment, but let's continue. So if you don't already know, there is a few issues to be discussed at this meeting. Proposal 1 and 2 are the most important proposals. One is the proposal to execute a reverse stock split of the outstanding shares of common stock in an amount not less than 1 for 2 shares and not to exceed 1 for 25 shares, with the exact ratio to be set within the range at the discretion of the board of directors. Now, for anyone who doesn't know why a company would want to do a reverse split in the first place, this is due to the fact that NASDAQ listing rules mean that a company stock must stay above $1 at all times. If the stock falls below $1 for a long period of time, then the company can get delisted off NASDAQ. As we know, Mullen Automotive stock has been trading well below $1 for several months, and they did receive notice in September that they have until March 2023 to get the stock back above $1. Now, the stock is currently trading at 20 cents. Which is very close to MULN stock all-time low, but it is highly likely to drop much further than this. As it says in this filing, the reverse stock split could be as little as 1 for 2, but this would be pointless because this would not bring the share price back above $1. And I feel that it is highly likely that they will in fact split by the maximum of 1 for 25. This will look best for the company, and at the end of the day, because the share structure won't look as bad as having billions of shares. If the maximum 1 for 25 ratio is selected, common stock issued and outstanding as of record date will go from 1.659 billion down to 66.3 million shares, which looks far better in the share structure point of view. But proposal number 2 is to increase the number of shares of common stock authorized from 1.75 billion up to 5 billion shares. While proposal number 4 is to approve extra dilution in the form of notes and preferred stock, which would then be converted into even more common stock. Now, when we scroll down a little bit, we can see that only holders of record at the close of business on November 21st are entitled to vote at the special meeting. But as I said a moment ago, this makes very little difference to ordinary shareholders. As we can see here, there is 1.65 billion shares of common stock and 1 AA preferred stock that was awarded to CEO David Michery last month, giving him 1.3 billion votes on the reverse stock split proposal. Now, this AA preferred stock should have given shareholders the biggest wake-up call to date regarding the company's intentions, because David Michery was awarded this stock in exchange for $25,000, which allows him to essentially control the entire vote. And once the shareholders meeting is over, the AA stock will be dissolved and CEO David Michery gets refunded his $25,000, which is just incredible. Now, something that I said about this stock when I first started to cover it back in March was that this seemed like nothing more than a dilution vehicle that would just drain investors' money by constantly issuing new shares and having very little to show for it. We can see here that they currently have 1.65 billion shares of common stock. At the time of my first MULN video, there was 28 million shares outstanding. This is a level of dilution that I have never seen before. And not only that, they have diluted by more than 300 million shares in the past 10 days alone. Look here at the Form Pre-14A filed on November 15th. 1.3 billion shares. And we can see that here highlighted in green on the 15th of November. And now the Form DEF 14A, there is 1.659 billion filed on the 25th of November, only 10 days later. All this company has done all year long is dilute, dilute, dilute. And anytime that the CEO is asked about why the share price is dropping, he has responded by saying that he does not know or does not understand how it could be dropping. Now let's remember that Mullen Automotive only went public through a reverse merger with Net Elements on November 9th, 2021, just over 1 year ago. November 9th. But within 10 days, this CEO had already began dumping his stock. Here on November 18th, he dumped 750,000 shares, which doesn't seem like many shares now, but at the time this was 750,000 shares that he sold right here at the very top at approximately $16 per share. And since then the share price has been dropping. If this man truly believed in this company, why would he be selling that amount of shares within days of bringing the company public? It doesn't make any sense. Now, despite all the dilution up to 1.6 billion shares, and the fact that he has been granted millions upon millions of shares throughout 2022, David Michery now owns 56 million shares, which accounts to only 3.4% of the total shares of the company. And this is where the AA preferred stock comes into play. In a normal shareholder meeting, anyone with 3.4% of total shares would have very little influence on his own. But David Michery has voting power of 1.35 billion shares now, which means that no matter what happens at this meeting, no matter what way every other shareholder votes, whatever this man wants to happen will happen. But what does all of this mean? And what do the other SEC filings regarding Michael Wax and Terran Piser's investments really mean? After all, these guys are dumping more shares than any retail shareholders could dream of. Guys, if you've watched this far into the video, can you take a moment, smash the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, then drop a comment and share a link to something that shows me to be wrong. In the time that I have been covering MULN stock, everything that I have said will happen has happened. If you have any doubts about this, then check out the other channels on my video. Literally every video, everything I said has happened step by step, exactly as I said it would happen. Despite my warnings, some people are intent to dislike my videos, so show your support if you find value in these videos. And for my viewers who want to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon page where you can support the channel for less than the cost of something like Netflix. And I have recently just set up a new private Discord community, so of course check this out too, with Patreon members getting access to an extra Discord level. Support the channel, check all of this out, and let's make those gains together. So what is going to happen next? Well, when the shareholders meeting comes around on December 23rd, by this time, or close to this time, we will also have the 2022 annual earnings report. The 10Qs so far this year have been filed on the 14th of February, the 16th of May, and the 12th of August. Whereas last year's 10K was filed on December 29th, so I expect that this year's 10K will be filed within days of the shareholders meeting, and I expect this to be an utter joke. I expect that the balance sheet will be shocking. And I'm basing this expectation on the last earnings report, which showed that they had total assets of 84 million and total stockholder equity of 19 million. But the net loss for the year so far had been $128 million. But since this earnings report, Mullen have added the assets of ELMS and have also acquired 60% of Bollinger Motors for $148 million. Now, one of the other SEC filings over the past week was Mullen filing Bollinger Motors financial statements, which shows us that Mullen paid $148 million to acquire 60% of a company worth $643,000 that makes a loss of over $13.5 million. Now this will show up in Mullen's latest financial statements as a massive goodwill figure of about $140 million, while adding next to nothing to the actual assets of the company. So guys, if you would like to see another update video where I look a bit closer at this Bollinger Motors acquisition, the financial statements and what value has actually been added to Mullen Automotive, then drop a comment below and like this video. Or like I said a moment ago, Mullen investors such as Michael Wax and Terran Pizer are now looking to dump their shares. But what do we actually know about these guys? Check out this video I made last month where I looked at other major red flags and Terran Pizer's history. Or drop a comment if you would like to see a new video looking at more detail about Michael Wax's real history and his real intentions for Mullen Automotive. As always, the information contained in this video is either from Mullen's own SEC filings or my opinion, and I am not a financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. If you are considering investing in this company, then I highly recommend consulting an actual financial advisor. Anyways guys, hit the thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next update video.